Is to have her first 5 singles go silver. Still only 22, she has astounded the music world and filled 1 million miles of newsprint. Now, the last few months seem to have been relatively quiet for her, but now she's back with a brand new single. It's called Step Back in Time. The video certainly has a 70s feel about it anyway, doesn't it?
Indeed, yeah.
Did you like that period anyway for fashion?
Well, I was actually doing some research for the video, you know, looking through magazines and videos and such, and it was basically so ugly. I was trying to find the cool parts of the 70s and combine it with 60s, 70s to get away with a bit more.
I saw the platform heels there, the flares.
I could hardly walk after 2 days of filming. I was like up and down the stairs, clinging onto the rails.
Now, I mean, obviously for quite a number of years now, you've been everywhere, but just in the last 6 months, you know, we haven't seen just quite so much of you. So where have you been?
In the last 6 months, I've spent 2 months in America recording some songs for my new album, which was a great experience. And I just spent a few weeks at home, which was just great. It was so nice to see my family and friends. And now I'm back into it.
Rang and ready to go.
Yeah.
Did you, you know, some months back, just feel that the hype was so intense that you had to get away from it all for a bit?
Yeah, well, I'm much better now, balancing it out. You know, now I look after myself, which is one thing I never used to do. So I say, okay, I'm going to need two weeks holiday here and a break there, so that I don't actually get to the stage where I'm physically and mentally exhausted.
Why, did you feel the people around you were pushing you just too hard?
Well, you know, 3, 4, 5 years ago when I started in Neighbours and started travelling around the world, yeah, you know, I was young and I didn't know how to say no, and just ended up, you know, just getting so tired and realising that if I'm no good to myself, I'm no good to anyone else, so I better pull my socks up.
I mean, what price do you think you've had to pay for the enormous success that you've had?
Well, I guess the major loss is loss of private life. But, I mean, there's a certain amount that the public knows about me. There's a certain amount that they know, which I wish they didn't know. And there's a whole lot that no one knows, which is really private. So, in a way, I find that, yeah, some of my private life has been taken away, but then the rest of it is especially precious to me, because you can't appreciate anonymity until you lose it.
You were saying that you went home for a while and you just loved that. I mean, do you ever sometimes look at your friends and sort of say, oh boy, I would just quite like an uncomplicated, sort of fairly straightforward life? Yeah,
I do, but being home for a couple of weeks, I loved it. It was great, but I couldn't imagine living there all the time. You know, I'm so used to travelling around, and I've got great friends all over the world now, so, you know, I miss them when I don't get to see them.
But the pressure must build up, and there were a lot of rumours that, in fact, you'd had a nervous breakdown, that it had really got to you. So how much of that was true?
Well, I guess it was true to a degree. I mean, I think as they do, put the icing on top of the story, and I think that I ended up in hospital in the press. I can't remember. But no, it wasn't that bad, but yeah, I was really exhausted, and just, I mean, the way it happened for me is kind of backwards to the way it happens to most people that are striving for success and for stardom. And they say, this is what I want to do, and so they're fighting and fighting to get it. Whereas I kind of arrived, and I was like, my God, how did I get here? How do I cope with this? So for me, it was kind of the other way around.
And of course, and people were saying that you're anorexic and you really were quite ill, so...
No, I'm just skinny.
Lucky you. Also, your new boyfriend, I mean, again, we've heard a lot about Mike Hutchins from In Excess. The mere fact that he is Australian and he is a musician.
Mm-hmm.
Does that help to have somebody who, like, truthfully understands?
Yeah, he's wonderful. I mean, he really does help me and influence me a lot. And yeah, I've never been asked that before, if being Australian is a help, but I really think it is, because, I mean, you're just coming from the same area, and it just, I can't really put into words how it does help, but it does.
And we've read again about the new image and, you know, new glamour and all of that. Does he have any part in sort of you trying to get away from that cute image, you know, and being allowed to grow up?
Yeah, he does. Mainly because he encourages me to be myself and says, you know, just go for it. Mainly he gets me to relax, which is one thing I've learnt to do in the last year, which has really helped me. But, you know, it's not like we sit down and he says, now, Kylie. I really think, you know, he doesn't, we don't talk about business in that way. But yeah, it's definitely influenced me a lot.
Did the spotlight affect your relationship with Jason originally, you know, when you were much younger?
Well, with Jason, we were both very young, and I think that our relationship and work was just all moulded into one. It was, you didn't know where the line was. And now I'm very sure to make business business and keep what's mine mine as much as I can. But yeah, it would definitely have affected it, and certainly not made it any easier.
So what do you want for yourself from here on in? I mean, are you creating, you know, a new, more glamorous image away from that cute girl next door?
Well, my image at the moment is me. My image really has always been a projection of me, an extension of me. And it's weird that people think that I've changed all of a sudden, because, you know, they might have seen me 6 months ago or a year ago, kind of catch up with what I'm doing every so often. But for me, that's just where I am at the moment. And I'm just not 18 years old anymore, which is what most people remember me as. And so it's not this amazing, you know, I'm going to suddenly change. It's just, it's a, you know, it's a growing process.
And as you mentioned, of course, America is the big target now, because you never sort of quite made it as big in America as elsewhere.
Yeah, well, firstly, the American and English music markets are really different. I mean, England has this kind of Euro sound. But recording in America was great because, firstly, I wrote with different producers and co-wrote my own songs. And actually recording in America really opens up that market. So I'm kind of launching the attack now. And if it works, that's great, because it's a really good challenge for me. It's a clean slate. And if it doesn't, I'm not going to be, I'm not going to feel useless for that. I mean, it's great. I love going. It's kind of ironic because I love being there. And
I suppose you can walk around there sort of quite freely.
I can walk around and just be a complete fool, and it doesn't. I mean, I tend to anyway. But yeah, it's great. I have such freedom there, and then I'm thinking, God, what am I doing? I'm trying to change all this when in fact I really like it. So, you know, either way, but it would be great.
Well, it would be great, and I hope the record does very well in this country.
Yeah.
So, Kylie Minogue, it's lovely to see you. Thank you very much indeed. Thank you.